to you live, just on the outskirts of the range of the camera here, hooking up the newest member of the wolf pack, and she is Lola. Now I'm going to watch Jag because he's kind of just flexing. Oh, it's okay, good girl, good girl. He's just flexing his muscle. Now she's done this before, and she's done this with all the dogs as well, and she's done really well. That's why we're going to do it again today. This is still training time, but it's also exercise that we need to get in for everybody, because I'm training Lola. I've been working with her so much that the guys haven't got into their normal training routine as much. Now, what I just did, so you know, I hooked her up to a harness, and I'm hooking the second line up to her. Let me turn her around. Come on, good girl. Whoops. Sorry, my battery comes out. I'll prevent that from happening right now. Come on, good girl. Turn around, good girl. Her second line is hooked up to her collar. Now, usually, I'll use what they call a limited slip collar. But today, I don't have it on me. We must have left it at the last trip we were on. And I don't have a backup her size right now, so I'll have to get that. But it's just double protection. Dogs sometimes back out of their harness. Let me start my Fitbit up so I can track our ride. We're doing the biking. We're going. And, excuse me, one more second before I start. The dogs are cooperating. So, I got to get a picture. I got to get a quick... I'm doing a vlog now also, because we're doing such interesting stuff, and I want everybody to be a part of it. Getting ready to run Lola and her team around the neighborhood. So, my vlog, by the way, shows you everything I do throughout the day, relatively speaking. That's noteworthy. Not like where I eat and stuff like that. Come on. Well, sometimes where I eat. Okay, so the camera is a little tilted. I'll fix that when we get to the top of the drive. Notice the formation, how good they're doing. I know you can't see Chase and Zara's face, and I apologize. I'm going to correct the camera here, though. One sec. Oh, guys. So it's a nice day. It's in the 70s. Relatively warm for the dogs, but for what we're doing, they'll be fine. And I just got to tilt that a little bit, just so we can give you a better angle. Notice how good they're all being and patient. And I'll talk to you more about that as we go. Come on, guys, hike. Whoa, just spun the camera off. Oh, up, I apologize. This might not be such a good idea. Jag, stay. That shouldn't happen after this. It's just... Stay, Jag. Okay, let's see if we can actually get moving here. Come on, guys, hike. Okay, we're in business. So, Lola, if you saw yesterday, I had a tribute to Princess. Unfortunately, Princess passed away about 6 weeks ago now. And where there is death, I love to give life. And I wanted to rescue another husky. I'm set up for 4 huskies. I could never replace Princess, obviously. But another husky that I can give a wonderful life to do the things that I do, and to have wonderful brothers as her team. So, keeping the wolf driver formation that I've had, I have the 3 males, and Lola is the female. Okay, so she's going to do a sniff there. Come on, good girl. Come on. She just stopped the sniff. There's a dog that lives there. And I'm trying to teach her that distractions, they call it, they say on by when we have distractions on a professional sled dog team. We're doing this for recreation, but I like them to know a lot of the commands. I don't frequently say on by, I just say, come on, guys. But that is the traditional term. I've got a bike rider I got to contend with here. Okay, easy, guys. Easy, guys. How you doing? Haw, haw, haw. Good boys. So haw means to the left, and that is sled dog talk. And we're just running in the neighborhood. This is how I taught Lola. And I was talking about my vlog. You can go and check. I tracked every day I trained her to do this. She's doing so wonderful, as you can tell. And I also made a training series, which I haven't released yet, but that'll be coming soon. Look at her getting right up with Zara. Zara's great with her. So with the other dogs, Chase is good. Jag's a little testy sometimes. That's just his personality. He does it out of fear than anything. He acts a little, you could be considered aggressive. And we got a bathroom break here from Zorro. 10-4, also let me know in that car. I didn't hear that car with your car. So actually we've got two going to the bathroom. So this also, I've said, I'm on broadcast, so I've said this a million times, that this promotes their bathroom, they're emptying their body. And it's not only because of the activity they're doing, but it's also because dogs naturally, when they get outside and they smell other scents, they want to go to the bathroom because they think either A, they can have a chance at prey, which of course we don't do, it's just instinctual, or B, we got that on camera, or B, they could have a confrontation with another dog and they want to be ready. They don't have to go to the bathroom in the middle of that. So that's why it's easy, relatively speaking, to house train a dog. When they get outside, they want to go. Come on, guys, hike. So, sorry with all this equipment on me. Sometimes it's a little hard to get started. I am going uphill. So, that was a bathroom break for Zorro and Lola. It's great. Actually, they'll go to the bathroom more times on the bike in a day when we're running than they do if we're not running. Got a car coming, a truck. So, got my wingman today is Dan. Always running. When I'm running the dogs, there's almost always somebody with me, especially with a new dog or an unfamiliar trail. This is familiar territory, but since Lola's so new at it and I'm running the boys, anything can happen. And that's why if we need somewhere to put Lola or one of the other dogs, then we have that area. So you can see the dogs are comfortable running against the curb, meaning Chase and Jag, the white dogs, white huskies. And Lola is pretty inquisitive when we have a car passes by. By the way, I may lose you. Signal can be compromised around here. If I do, I will keep recording and you'll be able to see this broadcast later. Sometimes it just pauses and it picks it up when it gets its clean signal. So all the dogs are doing great. I'll keep you advised on mileage. And right now I have no way of monitoring questions or comments or shout outs, but hopefully you can leave them and I'll respond to them in the near future, either in the feed or on a future broadcast. I'll be broadcasting a lot now that time is easing up a bit because the training is still going on with Lola, but we've gotten a lot of the basics down. Oh, good girl. Come on, good girl. She'll do that sometimes. She'll test, like when she can stop and what she can do. It's nothing that she's tired. She gets tired. I've tired her out, but nothing to do with that this early in the run. But want to make sure that her lines, she's wearing 2 lines connected to her where all the boys are wearing 1. So they can sometimes intertangle. It won't hurt her. It'll just restrict her movement some, and that'll make her not as comfortable. So I would go and check them, etc. Those things can happen. That's another reason I have Dan with me. He's watching from behind. If he sees anything unusual, then I can correct it right away. A lot of times when the dogs are trained, and you've seen me out here many a times if you're familiar with me, I've with Princess, we run all 4 dogs, and a lot of times nobody's with me. Now, there's a lot of bathroom breaks. That's another reason someone's with me, because I am in a neighborhood environment and don't want to have the dogs doing their stuff all over the streets if we can avoid. Look how close she is with Zorro. She's right up in there. Yeah, you can definitely see her. I know Zorro and Chase are a little out of camera view. I should have made it a little longer, but it's all a point of balance, and sometimes the camera bounces, and the further it is from the vehicle, the harder it is to keep it stable. So I'm trying to balance everything out. We'll go, now usually I'll run a mile to 2 before a water. Today is still, they're getting into their spring and summer coats. They're starting to shed their underlayer. Actually, they've shed a lot of it already. So their cooling layer, if you will, never shave a husky. Their cooling layer is their top layer, and it insulates them from the sun and from the warmer weather. So believe it or not, it helps keep them cool. That's why we should never shave it. And when you first change seasons, haul, I'm going to go to the left. Haul means to the left. Good boys and good girls. A lot of times I go to the right. And we have something in the road here. Looks like a squirrel. Haul over. Yep. Unfortunately, it's a dead squirrel. Thank you. 2 cars. I'm going to stop for a sec. Just because I was 2 cars, dead squirrel, all kinds of stuff happening. Come on, guys, hike. A lot of times, you know, I'll be doing this on the trail. This is just training in my neighborhood and keeping the guys in shape when I can't make it to the trail because of weather or work or whatever the case may be. It's a great way of doing it, though.
Got a car coming up behind me.
Got a car coming up behind Dan, is what he says. So I'm going to let the car pass. So it's a lot going on, and that's another reason why when I'm training, it's hard to focus on the live broadcast, why I haven't been broadcasting as much lately, because I got to pay attention to Lola. The other dogs know the routine, and usually, you know, it's just stopping for a bathroom break, whatever. This is quite a sight, though. My neighbors are all like, what is that? The people who haven't seen it. We go near a school, and when the school children are out, they just go crazy. And my dogs are all very friendly, and they've been by design. I mean, I've exposed them to a lot of socialization with people, kids, and as much as other dogs as I can. Sometimes I'm a little leery of them being around other dogs sometimes because it's intimidating with 4 dogs to another dog, and another dog will usually right off the cuff take a little bit of an aggressive stance before they realize, oh, these guys are friendly, they're not here for trouble. And sometimes by then it's already a little late, and they strike up the wrong tone. Even though my guys are trained not to engage the other dogs, they feel a little compromised because they're tethered to the bike, just like if they were tethered to a leash and another dog coming up to them. They don't feel like they feel like they're vulnerable. So that's the story with that. Neighborhood dogs sometimes will come up and see us. We know some of them, so that's all good too. But sometimes there are ones that aren't supposed to get out of the yard. Again, 4 dogs going by, it looks like a party or something big going on, and they're attracted to us. So we become a magnet, a dog magnet. What's so nice in the neighborhood here is I can do about a 5-mile loop without too much repetition. Repetition for the dogs, good boys and good girl. Good boys, good girl. Repetition for the dogs becomes a little boring because they smell their scent. They've been there and they're like, I was just here, smell it, nothing there. They're not as motivated to go with it. But first time around, and
I got a car coming up behind us.
Dan's telling me he's got a car behind us, got cars ahead. So I'm going to just take my time here a little bit.
I'm waving them around.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop because I got a grate coming up. No chase.
He's coming around.
So the reason I had to stop on that one was haul over. There's a grate there. You see that storm grate. And it is sometimes wide enough that the dog's paws could go through. And that's the biggest obstacle I got to go with. G. So just taking a right turn. G means to the right. We're going down to a quiet cul-de-sac where we'll be able to stop and give them a little water. They're pretty pepped up today. They haven't run in about 2 days. We ran, good girl. We ran on Tuesday. Didn't do a live broadcast, but Lola did phenomenal. It was on one of the trails actually in Delaware. You'll be seeing posters and videos from it soon. Chase, you hear my dogs because they hear another dog. Good boys. Now they're totally pulling. This is electric if you didn't know. They smell us. They're behind a big fence. But again, this is can be a big distraction. So they could get out of the fence. Some fences can be compromised depending on how motivated the dog gets. And when they smell something like 4 dogs or see something like 4 dogs, it becomes very inviting to them. Good girl, Lola. She's doing great. I mean, the first time I did this with her, and you'll see video, there will be a training series, as I said, to help everybody. Everybody might want to do it themselves, or You might have a dog, and you might want to bike with them. This is the same way I train them. The main key here is for a dog to get used to being next to a moving wheel. That's the biggest intimidation. Everything else, running, is second nature to them, of course. But the first time I did it with her, I knew I bring hot dogs. I train with hot dogs because you can cut them up into real small pieces, so you won't fill the dog up with treats. And the scent of them is usually, it's a double bonus to them. It's like extra good because they're not used to getting them. And I find turkey dogs, or the aroma from them, are just really put the icing on the cake for the dog. But was training her. I knew I'd have to have some hot dogs with me. Had them with me. I was wearing my waist pack when I trained, and she didn't want to go. She went a little bit. She stopped. I gave her a little bit of hot dog. Lots of praise. Took about a half a block, and then she was gold. She was ready. G over. G over means to the right, over. And haul, come around. Haul, come around. Haul, come around. We're going to stop right here. Haul, come around, because it's nice and shady. Easy, easy, easy. Ho! So we're going to give them some water here. And just check everybody out. Dan's going to water them while I focus on what's going on with everybody. Again, Dan's my wingman. Dan the Man, you might have seen him on many of my adventures before. In fact, he was the wingman for Tuesday's adventure in Delaware. So, look at Lila. She's so comfortable she's going to lay down. And she's panting some. She was trying to go after the bird. I didn't notice that. I noticed she lunged a little bit. Oh, so, and really smart of her, and Zara will do that too. They'll all do it when they get tired, but laying down, conserving some of her energy. The first water is usually the biggest because they're just started out, and usually as we progress, we don't do enough mileage this way to really do big waterings like we do out on the big trails when we're doing 10, 20 miles. So right now, just so you know, we are at 1.31 miles since we started. Again, a neighborhood run. The blacktop is not hot today. We're talking temperatures in the 70s. Got a cool breeze blowing through here now. Of course, anything above 0 degrees is warm for a husky. But again, their undercoat is pretty much shedded out. They're in pretty good spring, summer condition, and they can take the temperatures. When the seasons first change, they're drinking together, which is kind of cool. I'll film this too. Good boy, Zorro. Boy. Lola and Zorro having some water. Look, he's yielding to her. That's how gentle he is. He's about 4 times the size of her, and Zorro was waiting. When I say yield, he was giving to her, and that's what keeps him. Look, when she starts drinking, he stops. That's how Zorro is. He's just phenomenal. Most dogs, they won't do that. A lot of dogs can drink out of the same water bowl together. A lot of huskies can't eat out of the same food bowl together. Good boy, Zorro. But that's great. So he's awesome. Now, if she tried that with the other dogs, they're trained to not compete with her, but it could still be a little. I might have to be a little assertive to make that kind of interaction happen. Sorry, folks. It was just also, as I'm tending to the live broadcast, I'm trying to tend to my vlog and everything else. So you can see Chase, he's thirsty there. Chase and Zorro drink out of the same bowl a lot of times, but Jag's a little more picky, if you will. So again, any questions, comments? I know a lot of people ask me about, and I address this, I have a standard response that I just copy and paste about running on the blacktop. Running on the blacktop is actually no problem. I mean, sometimes, depending on the situation, with Princess, I preferred a hard surface trail like this because she was older and she didn't have to lift up her paws as high, so it wasn't as much energy required. When you get into grass and you get into dirt trails and even stones, they'll sink a little bit and they'll have to lift up their paws higher, and it'll be a little more work. Now, the different surfaces work the dog's pads in different ways and paws. So a softer surface where they can actually take their paws, like our hand, and grip is a good workout for them, and it helps them learn and exercise their toes to grip. When we get to a hard, which is good, when we get to a hard surface, it works on their pads and toughing them up, creating like callus. Like if we walked around barefoot all day on the driveway, concrete, sidewalk, whatever, our callus, especially on our heels, would build up. And that's what ultimately happens to them. When the callus builds up, it helps toughen them up. So when we get to different free ranging areas and they have to claw and go through rock areas, it keeps them a lot more durable. So, and it also helps maintain the claw length. So I like a good mix of blacktop hard surface trails as well as grass and dirt trails. Good boys, good girl. How they look from behind?
Good.
Everybody look good?
Yeah.
She gets right up in Zorro. Do you see her?
She pulls.
Oh yeah, she pulls. That's what Jim said.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, cool. So we've been on break here for about 5 minutes, and we're gonna get ready to roll. They all drink pretty good? Cool. Yeah, we water them twice usually, especially when we're out on the trail, because in warmer weather especially, but when they're working hard in colder weather, they're breathing, they're panting a lot. And remember, that's one of the only ways they cool, or the most efficient way, and it's not that efficient, but that's the way they cool, through panting. So that takes energy out of them. So it's hard to drink and to pant at the same time. So when you water them twice, they realize that, oh, he's gonna, and you get into that pattern and you teach them that, they don't feel like they have to gulp as much or drink as much on the first one. They don't rush it down them. And maybe, just maybe, this is my own analysis, it can help avoid bloat. Bloat, again, is when the stomach turns upside down. You can prevent bloat. I know some dogs that are prone to it, they'll staple their stomach so they can't bloat through surgery. They think, and I don't think there's an exact science behind it, why they bloat. Something to do with intake of food, water, air, and them breathing when they're breathing in the air. So certainly they recommend to not feed a dog at least an hour before or after exercise, and to monitor them, to never feed them during exercise, and to monitor them when you're giving them water during exercise, because bloat, again, some dogs are more susceptible than others to it. Okay, so I'm going to get back on the bike now, on the scooter, the RuFF board, what I call. I put this brake on, I pull that off. That helped keep it a little bit more stable than if I didn't have it. Come on, guys, hike, haul. So we're going to the left. Look how much she's right up in there. And Zorro is just so good with her. Now, the dogs are all going to be good together. When they're working like this, they actually are less likely to have a confrontation if another dog's all over them. So if she's kind of in Zorro's grill or behind him or way up in him, he's less likely, if any of the dogs are doing that. And all working dogs, when they're working, they're focused. They're like one-track mind is what I'm trying to say. They're one, so that's all they can focus on. So when they're working, they're not worried about someone getting too close to them. Now, if it's something new they're doing and another dog is getting too close to them, they're nervous and they're not confident in themselves, maybe fearful even, and another dog gets in their grill, I'm saying gets too close to them from behind, in front, whatever, you may get an aggressive reaction out of a dog. So, and there are sled dog teams where some dogs can't be next to each other. So, you got to take everything into consideration. But this, when I introduced Lola to her brothers here, good girl, she looked at me when I said her name, and that's always good. She's paying attention. When I introduced her to her brothers, we're climbing a little bit of a hill here. I did it like this on the scooter because it's a working environment. They had to focus on work and they couldn't focus. They could sniff her for a couple seconds. I call it the 5-second rule. They sniff for 5 seconds and then get them doing something else, get their mind off it so they don't start pushing each other and possibly having a confrontation. What I did was, when I introduced them, it's a dog behind the fence. Okay, guys, good boys, good girl. Here, Chase, here, my guys. That's my guys responding to that. And it motivates them. Look how they started moving faster. That's why when we're on trails and they pick up the scent of a wild animal, I mean, we start sprinting, they can do speeds of 15 miles per hour on a sprint on the bike. Good boys, good girl. When they're off leash, they can sprint up to about 30 miles per hour, the husky breed. And I've clocked them with the radar gun I use. course, greyhounds can do 40 miles per hour plus. Good boy, Jag. Now, Jag sometimes will lag back. He's learned, even when I first started training him, that he don't like pulling. And what he'll do, and that's what's so awesome about this, because we're on the side, they don't have to pull. But he'll usually run with a little slack in his line or a little behind and let his brothers and sister pull. And I got a little bit of a grate here, so I want to move over to avoid it. So introducing dogs to another dog, it's not a good idea to just all of a sudden put them all together. Lola, when she first came to me, had to get comfortable with me before she met the other dogs. So once she was comfortable with me and feels that I'm a safety zone for her, and she meets other dogs, if she has a bad reaction or if someone growls a little bit, she'd be like, oh, I'm going to Dad, because he's safe, instead of saying, oh, I got to stand my ground and stand up to this dog that's growling at me. Come on. Good boy. I just gently tug him off the... Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Come on, guys. Someone new. That's amazing. It really is. I mean, I wish every... Come on, Chase. He's just... We're not going super fast. And Chase is like, if you're not going fast, I'm going to sniff around, Dad. I wish everybody... I know live like this is awesome to see this, but if you could really see this in person, it's truly incredible what doing this and getting the dogs to cooperate in this fashion. Now, it's nothing that anybody could do this. It's instinctual to them. They just have to feel safe next to a moving wheel. And of course, they have to be motivated to do this. Now, my vlog the other day, we went to the vet to get shots for the 3 males, for Zorro, Chase, and Jag. Just their yearly shots. I give them Bordetella, it's called, which is kind of like a kennel cough shot. They never get kenneled. They're not in, when I go away, if I do, which I don't much, but I don't put them in a kennel. They stay home and someone would come and take care of them or look after them. But so it's mostly a kennel disease, my understanding, but the groomer does come and see them, and they're in the groomer's van once or twice a month. So it will help prevent if another dog has it. They get it from other dogs. I also give them a Lyme vaccine in the part of the country I'm at, East Coast of the USA, Northeast Coast, Maryland. Lyme is pretty prevalent. Lyme is a tick-borne disease. And actually, Princess had Lyme's disease before I got her, and we could tell that by her blood work, because once you have it, it stays in your blood for a long time. So I confirmed that with the people that have had her, and it didn't seem to cause her any ailments when I had her, but it's good to know. There are other tick-borne diseases. Lyme's disease is one of the more common ones that they can be vaccinated against, so I do treat them for that. And also, they're on flea and tick preventatives as well. But the Lyme is just an extra layer if a tick does get to bite them, which the flea and tick is so good. I use Bravecta for that. Bravecta is a 3-month preventative. Now, there's one tick-borne strain. Sorry if I'm getting too technical for you here. There's one tick-borne. Okay, they think these people have a dog. That's why they're excited. It's kind of cool though. You can really get an idea of them running here. When they realize they don't have a dog, they're going to slow up. Got this. Okay, guys, all over. Passing on your left. Come on, guys. Good boys. Chatty people. Come on, Lola. Good girl. So once they pass, they're like, oh, that wasn't any fun. There was nothing. They didn't have a dog, Dad. Their eyes are trained to see motion. So as soon as they see motion, they don't know what it is until they put all the pieces to the puzzle together. They pick up on the scent. They get closer, and then they can see. And when they see, it's either a blade of grass moving in the wind or it's a person. Nothing they want to really mingle with. They're like, oh, okay, that was boring. They say that dogs, if they could read, if you were close up, they can't really read a paper that would be what we could read in our vision. they don't see fine like that, but they do see motion, even the slightest motion, like I was talking about a blade of grass moving in the wind. I've seen them do this. Howdy, thank you so much. So even like a blade of grass in the wind, I mean, I've seen them look way in the distance. I'm like, there's nothing out there. And actually, there was a ground dog. But I see them on a windy day looking left, right, center, whatever, all over the place to see what was that. And of course, when they put all the pieces to the puzzle together, because they're hunters, their huskies are very prey driven. And if you use that to your advantage, you can help train them through their instinct. And that's what I mean by engage them with what they like. They're not as interested in playing a game of fetch, chasing a ball. They might chase it once or twice, but after that, they're like, that was boring. Whereas some breeds love it. Howdy. Come on. Thank you. Thumbs up. Getting a good review here. Good boys, good girl. So, and it's all about, you know, I mean, like Jag, he's not a big puller, even though he is really running good right now. Got to find what motivates him. So we do other activities that Jag enjoys. He's actually doing really good. So I did take him to the vet, as I was saying. They got the Lyme disease shot, Bordetella shot. Haul. I usually turn right. And that's why that white bar, you can see Zorro, he felt the white bar. That's not really a bar. That's a PVC plastic vinyl type material to kind of nudge the dogs. And it's really for training when I first train them on here, that if they touch it, they know to get back. So it keeps them way out of the wheel. They're smart enough at this point to know not to do that anyway. But when I want to go another direction here, I can kind of nudge them over, and it works really well because it just touches them, and it doesn't none of the bike is danger to them, none of the scooter, but it's a little more pleasant. So we're going down about a 6% grade of a hill here, and this hill is a good challenge for them, especially climbing it. But we can go pretty fast here. My deal is to balance them all. I don't want to be too fast for Lola because she's still kind of new to this. This is only her 3rd week of training on the scooter, but actually she's up there. And if she feels like the bike's going too fast, the scooter, she could feel it's out of control, and it'll not make her comfortable, not help build her confidence. But she's doing phenomenal. They're all doing great. I am heavily on the brake because we would be going a lot faster. You can see Zorro and Jag digging in. They love it. And we're going to circle in this cul-de-sac here. A lot of cul-de-sacs. G over. Good boy. Chase was trying to shortcut me. G. Good boys. Good girl. G. Haul, come around. Haul, come around. Haul, come around. Haul, and come around is left U-turn, basically. Haul, come around. Haul, come around. Now we're going to climb this hill. Haul, come around. And the position the dogs are in on the side, they don't need to know the sled dog commands. It's helpful, and it's also helpful for other stuff, such as when we're free ranging, when they're off leash. If they're ahead of me, I can call out a direction, and they know which way I want them to go. Good boy, Jaggy. Good boys. So we're going to climb this hill. Again, it's a 6%. And 6%, I had to look this up and understand this because sometimes I'll get to trails and they'll say what percent of a hill of a grade is we're coming to if you're on a trail. It'll give you some warning so you know how to prepare for it because it's a little challenging. And 6% is pretty challenging. I'm really happy that I've got a 6% grade in the neighborhood because it lets the dogs work. Gets them climbing the hill. Remember, they are not pulling this. They can pull it. It's lightweight enough. It's just my body. One 30-pound dog could, on level ground, is going to be able to pull a human on a wheeled rig. So, I mean, there's 4 dogs here, and 3 of them are pretty hard pullers, meaning Lola, Zorro, and Chase. Jag's like, he's the couch potato. But he's doing good. So, back to the lecture at hand. Sorry to deviate. We were at the vet. Again, we got the Lyme disease shot, the Bordetella shot, and something called lepto, and I forget the full scientific name. It's another disease that the dogs, canines, can pass to humans. It's pretty brutal, and it is in our area, so I started vaccinating the dogs for that as well. G, we're going to go to the right. G, they also got senior exams which senior exam we do once every 6 months or twice a year. And I learned about some new medical preventative procedures that are coming around. So that was really cool. We didn't pull any blood. Sometimes we pull blood, sometimes we don't, to check it. Fortunately, the boys don't have any issues right now, but they're getting to that age. They're about 9.5 years old now. G. Hall come around. Hall come around. Hall come around. Hall come around. Good boys. Good girl. Hall come around. We're going to take a breather up here because we did some hill climbing, some hill rappelling, just ascending and rappelling. Ho, guys. So I'm telling Dan, let's give him some water. And I'm going to check in on mileage. 2.69, almost 3 miles right now. I'm going to do a quick vlog entry here, if you don't mind. We are at 2.69 miles right now, and we've got all 4 of the wolf pack here, and it's been a wonderful run so far. We are at 2. Again, my vlog can be found on my YouTube channel, Wolf Driver. And they're probably not going to be as thirsty. We put on about 1.5 miles since our last stop, 1.25 miles. Boys and good girl. How are they looking?
Good.
That hill, that's like a 6% grade. Which, 6% is pretty steep. There goes Lola. She's going to take a breather. Yeah, I know they're not going to be as thirsty. Let's see if I can address any Facebook. I might be able to look on my other phone real quick, folks, and see if we've got anything I can address right away. So, I'll be right with you, folks. I'm trying to check the feed so I can address everybody if we have any questions. Sorry, got a slow internet connection here. Let's see if we're still broadcasting. We should be. Yes. Cool, we're still live, but it is a little slow. Our connection. I apologize for that. Jaggy drinking pretty good, huh?
Slow.
He's the slowest drinker. Rhett used to say. Yeah, Rhett used to be like, he's the slowest drinker on the east coast of the USA.
It's him and Jim.
That's why they get along so well.
Right.
Girl. Good girl. That bag holds a lot of water, huh, Dan?
Yeah, it's good.
Think we'll have time for lunch?
I don't know.
I'm just going to the end.
Back now?
Nope, going to the end of the road and back. You probably won't then.
Probably not.
Sorry, buddy.
Hey, it's sorry to you.
No, I'm going to DoorDash.
Yeah. Obviously.
I know you will. Wings. Good. Somebody's texting. Let's see.
Yeah, definitely not because you know you're hold the bike, wear the dog, do this, do that.
Okay.
2:30.
So 2:45. I gotta mess with someone. Sorry, can't mess with everyone here because the internet connection's slow. So we'll just spend a couple minutes here and then we're gonna cruise right on. I know my internet connection is slow, and again, That's part of the cellular issue, I guess. The again, the program will be recorded. I'll keep the video camera running. So if you're interested, please come back later and check it out when we do the final posting, which I usually post back to YouTube. I've got an All Dog Network channel, but we'll post it to Wolf Driver too. So dogs are doing good, and they're not too tired. If these guys were tired, they'd be laying down. Jag looked like he was getting ready to lay down, but I don't think so. Going to give Lola a minute or two to recover, and we're going to roll out of here. Once again, this scooter or rough board is powered by a battery. I can also use my feet to kick a little bit, and the dogs can also pull if they so desire. It's great for training a new dog because they don't have to pull, so they don't have to get that feeling. Because at first it feels a little awkward to them, but at the same time, an older dog can get on here and run with it as well, because we move at a slow enough speed when we have an older dog, like when Princess used to do it. Okay, guys, we're gonna do it. Come on, guys. Hike. Now, hike means to go. Traditionally, people think that when they see me, they're like, mush, mush. But it's actually, hike is the startup word that the mushers use, even though I'm not really a musher. I'm a wolf driver, not a dog driver. A musher's a dog driver. I do this for fun, recreational purposes, and the health of the dog. Psychological and physical health. A lot of people still don't understand this. Like, that's so cruel. It's really, in most ways, it's nothing more than a glorified walk. Depending on how athletic the dog is, it could be more if they choose to make it more, meaning moving at a higher rate of speed, go into areas that are a little harder to access off-roading, and if they want to really pull, they can. So it's a little bit of everything we want it to be, or anything we want it to be. And I think people are so programmed today to look at something and make a quick judgment before they really learn about it, because this is one of the most amazing things out there to be able to do with almost any dog, because let's face it, all dogs need some kind of exercise. Haw, haw. So I'm going to go straight. They want to go to the right. That's the way we normally would go home. I'm just telling them haw so they stay to the left. And we're going down a hill, not quite as deep as that 6% one, but a nice little hill. You can see she's rolling. Lola's doing it. Look at them run. Getting some awesome footage here. I hope everybody can see this, because it's just fantastic. And even passing cars and trailers like we're passing on the side, landscaping, vehicles, whatever, it's a little unusual for Lola. She's got to learn, but she's been doing great with it. This isn't her first rodeo. She's about 3 weeks into it right now. The sun really retreated, so it's nice out. It's really nice out. And we came down that hill kind of quick, so I'm going to let Lola gain her composure. The boys are pretty good anyway. And we're going past a bunch of lawnmowers. Again, good training, because it's going to be loud and there's 3 guys or 4 people. And so a lot of distractions. Come on, good girl. She's tired right there. Oh, letting her rest for 1 second. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, come on over. G. Van coming, that's why I moved them over. Actually, 2 cars. Time these cars pass, they'll be ready to be back in the game. Okay, guys, hike, come on. Good boys. So you can see her, she's pretty much recovered. Look, she's all the way in. And people need to understand that some people say to me, wow, the dog's really tired. These dogs recover sometimes in a matter of seconds. And sometimes it's not that they're tired, they're just don't know what to expect. They're not as comfortable with it yet. Come on, guys. A little tight here, so. And I know Chase going to the bathroom. Good boy. Come on, guys. Hike. Come on. Come on. Because I had to put him over in the grass, so the grass holds more scent from other animals and it's more enticing, more of a distraction for the dogs. Sometimes I use it to my advantage to get them to run because they get bored with the concrete, and sometimes I have no choice but to put them over there because I need it as a shoulder, as the roadway or trailway might get too tight. That's why I use off-road vehicles, quite frankly, like this. And what I mean by off-road is that it has a little more, the tire is a little more aggressive. It can go in the grass, on the dirt, whatever. Come on, guys, G over. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. A lot of spectators. They like it. It's cool. Again, you probably won't see anything like this anywhere. I mean, in more common areas where there's dog sports like this happening, you'll see scooters with dogs, but usually the dogs are out in front. Almost nobody connects them like I do. Good boy, Zorro. Come on. So in the vet, they actually put on a couple pounds. All of them. Zorro, Chase, and Jag. But Zorro and Jag especially. Whoa. Good boys. Whoops. I knew that was going to happen. I apologize. There was a rut there, and I was trying to avoid it so the camera wouldn't take the hit like it did, but no real damage done. Okay, guys. Good boys. Come on. I'm going to walk this around, and we're going to do a big U-turn, and hopefully we'll get back into some signal. I have a feeling the signal's been a little degraded here. Okay. Because trucks are here. Haul, come around. Haul, come around. Truck coming down there. Haul, come around. Haul, come around. Boys. Okay, guys. Hike. Whoops. Oh, guys. Whoops. Sorry, Jaggy. Sorry, good boy. Just trying to put my camera up. Thank you. Come on, Jay. I got them all lined up, don't I? It's pretty wild, isn't it? A lot of fun, though. Have a great day, sir. Yeah, no, I haven't been around in a while. Good to see you. Thank you. Boys and good girl. So I hope I'm going to stop down here where the camera, I can adjust the camera a little better. Oh, guys. Oh. Sorry, Jaggy. Good boys. Good girl. Hike. So a lot of people, I've been doing this for years in the neighborhood. So you'll see a lot of people like that guy. I haven't seen you in a while because I come through here different times of the day, and when we're doing a lot of trails, I'm not working in the neighborhood doing this as much here. But training Lola here, I'm getting back into some neighborhood runs so I can work with her and get the boys some exercise too. But they gained a little weight, I was saying. Now Zorro's found a way to eat Gigi's food. So Gigi's our little Chinese crested, so he's definitely getting too much food. with the boys, I cut him back a little bit. Just Jag and Zaro. Chase is thin. He's always racing weight, even though he gained a little. You would never know it. But cut them back a little bit, and trying to balance out their weight as they get older. You know, muscle, you get some muscle atrophy, so you lose muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat. So muscle turns to fat, and they, but the muscle weighs more than fat, but they lose that muscle, and they start gaining weight. Good boy, Jaggy. Oh, guys. Trying to balance everything here. Sorry, folks. Got my phone going. Text is blowing up. I'm going to rest them for a sec so I can check everything out. Oh, guys. Boys. Let's do one more water. So we're going to do one more mileage check-in and mileage water just because it started to get crowded around here, and this will be a good place to stop. Got about, right now, excuse me, sorry, got 3.5 miles. Here's the team with 3.5 miles right now. Everybody's running great, and we're having a great time. Loud, isn't it, around here? Mowers and a lot of stuff going on. Boys, my phone's blowing up. No, just everybody. So I'm trying to look at my watch and
They got interest.
yeah, because they just did. Zara's thirsty. Car coming by, just so you know, Dan.
Not gonna do nothing.
Boys. Slowest drinker on the East Coast, Jaggy. Is it supposed to rain, did you say?
In that sticking mud.
Did you say it's supposed to rain or no? What's that? While you're in the mud? Yeah, you can just back up. Boys. It's been busy around here today. So, well, with everything going on, it was the best place. Easy, good boy. Easy, good boy. We're going to go. Okay, guys. Come on, guys. We're back at it, folks. Haul over. Boys. So we got in this neighborhood these kind of little, I guess, almost like a roundabout, but not a full roundabout. Just supposed to divide the road and slow the traffic down. It doesn't work that great. Oh, and when you have cars coming and cars parked on the side, you got to just be cautious. And that's what we're trying to do. Howdy. How you doing? Thank you so much. Have a great day. Good way to get around. Okay. Come on, guys. Hike. Had to stop so she could tell me how much she liked it. But I have a trailer to the side, and that's why I had to stop. I couldn't keep going. Usually when people say, talk to me, I try to keep going because I like to keep the dogs moving. The dogs aren't much for stopping unless we're giving them a break and some water. Otherwise, they just want to keep rolling, keep to the job at hand. Good boy, Sorrow. Good girl. Now this is a little bit of a hill too. Good exercise for her and for her brothers. So we're gonna take a left here. Good boy, Zorro. Good boy, Chase. Good boy, Jag. Good girl, Lola. Good boys and good girls. Good boys. Hall is good. Again, they don't have to know the sled dog commands. I like to use them when I can because it does help get them in a groove to know what to expect, as well as when we're free ranging, I can give them a command and they can anticipate where I'm going to go based on the command, because they get in front of me sometimes in the ATV. If you've never seen that, that's quite a sight also. Come on, good boys. We've been moving at a good clip. I'm tiring the boys out, it looks like. Good girl. Everybody's doing great though. This is awesome training. Great socialization for Lola, being the new girl of the pack. So she can talk, she can see the guys working and feel part of the team. So when she's with them off leash or in other conditions, when we're around the house together, they know that they're all part of the same pack. And it helps ease tension, as well as keep their mind off each other when they're running, just to know that, oh, that dog's supposed to be here. Versus if Lola was new and I just put her in the house with the dogs or in the yard, like, what's this dog doing here? Now, they might want to play it first if you're lucky, but if not so lucky, it could be an aggressive posture they take because she's in their yard, or it could be a little bit of fun in the beginning they could have, and then they could say, huh, this is my area. After the play's over, you can't rest here, you can't be here, whatever. So that's how aggressiveness starts. So it's always a good idea to introduce them on neutral ground, or in a working kind of situation where I taught her to be on the bike and go with the bike, and then I got them all together.
Car coming up.
That's Dan on our walkie-talkie letting me know a car's coming up. Come on, guys. So that's how I successfully introduce the dogs. We're going to take a left here. Haul. 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 Good boys. And they know the way home. So for those of you just joining, I call myself the Wolf Driver because I drive dogs in all kinds of configurations. Sometimes they're off leash. We do something called free ranging. Sometimes they're on a vehicle like this, which I call the RuFF board. It's a scooter essentially. The dog's attached to it on the side. They don't have to pull. They can simply trot or run along with it. I can handle up to 4 or even more dogs on here. This is electric powered, as well as I can use some kicking power. Traditional scooters, people usually use their foot and they kind of kick it on the ground, kind of like in the motion I'm doing with my leg right here, boom, just like that. A lot of people do run dogs on scooters, but not in this configuration. They do it usually with the dog out in front on a what they call a tow rope or a sled dog line. And on that line, the dogs have a lot of room to meander. So it'd be difficult to do something like this with the dogs, what they call it scooter joring, ski joring, bike joring, again, where the dogs are out in front on a loose line so they can meander to the left or to the right. Got a bathroom break here. Ho, guys. We stop. Good boys. And Dan will take care of that. I'm going to still stay stopped because this car is down here. Thanks, Dan. So, any of those joring sports where the dogs are out in front, the dogs can meander because they're on a line. G to the right, G to the right. Good boys and good girl. So when they do that, when they're out on the line, they can meander left or right. So if you're on a trail and there's a jogger or another dog, they can actually go all the way over. Now, when you're on a sled dog team, they're less likely to do it if you have a good lead dog that understands the commands and doesn't get distracted. He keeps the team in order. But that's when you're dealing with multiple dogs, sometimes in the 20s. The lead dog directs them. So in this type of setting that I'm doing it, it would be hard to do without the dogs going into somebody else's lane. When the dogs are tethered to the side like this, they don't have to pull, and they won't get anyone else's lane because they only have a short lead where they have that they can move to left or right, and I can move them over accordingly. G over, good boys. G over, boys and good girl. So that's why I prefer this setup. Now I do have to monitor the dogs behind me, and I have mirrors for that. Some of my vehicles I'll even use a little camera that displays on my chest like I'm wearing here, so I can see what's going on behind me. And I usually have a wingman or a co-pilot, someone following me or someone actually riding with me to further help me monitor. Boys and good girl. So when we first started, Zorro and Chase were further in front like they are now because we're going downhill. And you can see Jack, he's getting into it too. This is because we're going downhill and we're getting towards the house, and they see the finish line. And they're like, yeah, we did the 5 miles, Dad. We feel good. Or 4.5 miles. So I'm balancing the load. I have my hands on the brake. So if my newest dog, I don't want to say her name, I don't want to distract her, would lunge at something, I can stop the vehicle. It's not going to hurt her anyway, but it's just trying to teach her she can't do that. So I would stop and give her another command. G to the right. We're going to corner this nicely. G. See how the scooter has good cornering, kind of leans into the turn. Good boys, good girl. So that works really well. So as I was saying, when the dogs are out in front, it's a little harder to do all the activities we do. That's why they're on the side. Plus, the dogs don't have to be as physically capable on the side because they're not pulling at all. So I have taught all these dogs to pull. They can do it. They're still young enough that it would be fine for them as long as the proper harness is worn. And Princess, in her early days with me, that's all she did was pull before I came into something like this. And this configuration really started with my older dogs, some of my older Huskies that I've had, because they needed a way to exercise. Pulling was going to be not possible at the age they were at and the condition they were, but getting out on a vehicle like this was going to be possible. And that's how this whole running on the side came about. Plus, I train dogs always running on the side before I run them out in the front. They're doing awesome. But you can see they're kind of level with the bike now. Jag's a little behind. That's what he does, though. That's the way he always holds his. Haul, 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 haul. So we're entering my driveway. Good boys and good girl. And this will be kind of fun if I can hit the camera and show you how we cool down. Good boys. G, I got a storm grate on my driveway too. Easy, guys. Good boys. So that is very cool. I hope you enjoyed the run. Let me give you a quick mileage update. 4.58 miles. And I do that for my vlog too. Just finishing up, 4.58 miles. Everybody did awesome. And we're getting ready to do a cool down in the pond. So check that out.
Just finishing.
Okay, I logged that in there. What time you got, Dan?
2:02.
What's that?
It's 2:02.
Okay, cool. Got a little bit of time with you. GG. Okay, so we're going to get the dogs off of here. And then I'm going to grab the camera and show you how I'm going to let Zorro off. I'm going to take her on the leash still. Good boy. Good boy, Chase. Good boy. Hey, good boy, Jag. If you can, just like that. Yeah, what? Don't block the lens, and you can film that over there. Yep, you can go over. I got her. Go film the guys in there. Yep, I want to show everybody. So, hi, good girl. I'm gonna leave Laura staying with me. How good is that? Good boys. Come on, good girl. Let's see if she'll get in there. Show everyone here too, Dan. So, look, she's going in. Cool. She's learned from her brothers how to climb into the pond. You can see Jag's in with the goldfish. This is Zorro, and Zorro doesn't even go all the way in. Go in, Zorro. Now he's not going to like Jag with her behind him, so I'm going to move her this way. See all the goldfish? Now the goldfish they actually enjoy the dogs because the dogs are never aggressive towards them. They actually think they're going to feed them. The dogs are going to feed them because when we come near the pond, we feed them. Now, there's lots of goldfish, a couple of big butterfly goldfish, koi in there, and a turtle, a red-eared slider, not a snapper. So this is a great way for them to cool down because the pads of their feet is where they sweat, even though their sweat is not kind of like a human sweat. It doesn't cool them real well, but when they can get them underwater, it adds to cooling them. So we designed the pond purposefully for the dog. Oh, Zorro's all the way in. Great. For the dogs to be able to get in like this, easy access, and to sit in here as long as they want, pretty much. Jag's liking them goldfish. As long as you don't eat them.
They're coming right up to his mouth.
Yeah, I still don't think he can catch them, but
No.
some fish can. Some dogs can, but not him. Not Jag. Good boy, Zorro. Good boy. Look at her. She might be a swimmer. She might go in the pool.
Yeah.
This is her second time with all the dogs on the scooter. So, on the RuFF board. It's a scooter. So she's learned about them getting into the pond. Only her second time seeing them do that, and they're watching them. She's doing it herself. Wish I want it to happen. And that's how dogs learn from other dogs. They can also learn bad habits too. Good boy, Zorro. Now Chase might go back in there. So the pad, again, is where they emit heat from. When you can cool the pad, it really helps cool them down quicker than if they weren't able to get it in water. And this water's pretty cool. What do you think the temperature of the water is? Probably 70.
Yeah, 60, 70.
Yeah. Look at her. She's probably eating the fish food that you dropped.
Don't go there.
Now, if I let her off leash, she might go too close to Jag, even though he'll listen, but he's a little stressed because he just worked out, so he might take that as an aggressive move, and he might assert himself. So that's why I'm keeping her well under leash. Look at Chase. Good boy, Chase. Good boy, Chase. Good girl, Lola. Good boy, Jag. Good boy, Zorro. Point more at him. Your camera's turned to my car. Good girl. Good girl. Come on now. Slippery there, huh, girlie? Go ahead. You want to go back in? You can go back in. Hi, good girl. Hi. Hi, good girl. Girl. Come on, good girl. Jag loves being in the water. Look at Chase. Meandering around. Chase. Chase. Here. Come on. Here. Chase. Good boy. Good boy, Chase. So there's no invisible fence, that dirt one out here. It is actually out here. So I just keep him around the pond area. Good boys. So we really spent a lot of time cooling them down. I'm gonna Did you see my phone must have fallen out? Oh no, I put it in my thing. Chase, look at Chase climbing the stream. How cool is that? Cooling down the dogs right now. Chase is climbing the stream. Jag just got out of the pond saying hi to the goldfish. Zorro is checking out the tall grasses, and Lola's just taking in everything. Look at Chase. Cooling down the dogs right now. Okay. Look at her. She wants to be in everything. Cool. So that's how Wolf Driver does it. Hope you enjoyed the show, folks. Again, if you're just tuning in, we just did the RuFF board. We ran the dogs for about 4.5. Lola, she's already been with the Wolf Pack quite a few times, but she's just getting some more exercise with them and still getting into the look at Jag, look at Chase. He's with Danny. Danny's running the camera right now, getting into their group and taking in all the sights and sounds. You can watch this video. It'll repost. If at all it pauses in there, I know the times I do repost them in their entirety without the breaks to YouTube. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel because I do have a vlog on there, and you can learn about what I'm doing almost every day. Wolf Driver, once again, thanks so much, and I'm signing off.